down the field. Happy tossing dimes, cup $1 million deal. Fantasy football, better know it's real. Tune into the podcast, tell us how you feel. We be going live, best believe we talk.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Football from Up North podcast. We're back. We're back in the lab and happy to be chopping it up with my boy Habby. What's up, bud?
How's it going, man? How was the little bit of time off?
It was good. It was good. You, on the other hand, added another little human being to your family.
Yes.
Little AWOL.
Little girl, Blake Marie.
And you're ballsy enough, and we went out for a weekend of playing Bunnocks, whatever.
Yep.
If people don't know what that is, look it up. Bones in Bashaw, and brought the little squirt with you.
Yes. She's dynamite. She doesn't do much right now, and she behaved herself there. It was my other daughter, Molly, that had to keep my eyeballs on.
Yeah, it was pretty funny when we were all sitting in Bashaw there. We took all the photos because clearly COVID really we got bored during COVID season.
Yeah.
We all decided to have kids. So
Yeah.
Hey, how many were there total? 12?
12 kids. Yeah.
12 kids now. And the best thing ever is
all during COVID, but we had one each.
But I got to tell you this much: I'm bringing your mother-in-law into this episode here.
Here we go.
You know what?
Here we go.
Kathleen is a beauty.
What did she say?
We're taking these photos of these kids, hey, and she just comes up to me and just whispers to me, hey, she's like, you know, if there was more swallowing, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, that's standard. Standard Kathleen.
Yeah, what a beauty she was. But
yeah, the old Thanksgiving and Christmas tables are never a dull moment.
That's awesome. Well, you know what? Outside of that, it was good. We're back now. We're going to be putting out some good content here. If you haven't already done so, please go follow us on all of our socials. Our website is up and going now. We're dropping a bunch of articles from some of our contributors. The latest one is Riley's article on why TJ Hawkinson is a top 3 tight end. So get on that. Go read that. It's a wicked read. So a couple of housekeeping things we got to go through first. In case, if you guys have been listening for a while now, you've already known that we are partnering up with ESF once again this year. So we're proud to be partnering up with them and giving away some signed jerseys from players like Joe Montana, Willie McGinnis, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley, and Amari Cooper, courtesy of our partners at Fantrax. So as we're getting closer and closer to the season, we wanted to send out an invite to everybody for the first annual ESF/FF from Up North Best Ball Tournament. Now, this is a best ball tournament where we're going to have about 300 people in there. Basically, what we are going to do, it's a salary cap based best ball. So you're just basically going to have set amount of dollars. So I want to say the number is 300. You got to put the best team together within that salary cap. So basically, all you got to do in order to qualify for these jerseys, you got to beat one. I'm a co-host for Eat Sleep Fantasy as well. So basically, all you got to do is beat a contributor of Eat Sleep Fantasy, and all of our names will have ESF in front of it. All you got to do is finish ahead of one of us. Your name will be put into the draw, and you never know. We're going to have a ton of more prizes, so that this is just basically just the start of what we have that we're going to be giving away for this tournament. So I'm not going to go through all the details on how to do this, but basically it's a free account you got to open up on Fantrax, and then I'll put the address and all the details in our show notes. So make sure you jump in that. It's free, guys. So what's better than winning a free jersey, right? You know
Exactly.
what I mean, Habby? So it's perfect.
I love fantasy pools, so just get me in all of them, especially if there's prizes.
Exactly. I mentioned about all of our socials and everything like that. So today we are going to basically kick off our the start of the season, go through some sleepers / undervalued players, pretty much is what they are. Is that how you explain that?
Exactly. Yep.
Right?
Guys are going to find deeper in your hope to cash in on deeper in your pools.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? There's always those guys that are people are sleeping on them just because of either injuries or just had a down year the previous year. So we're here to tell you guys, give you a list of guys that you guys could go jump in and get them. And most of these guys are falling in double digit rounds too. So, I mean, if you don't want to splurge and get one of those top elite guys, there's a few guys on this list that could. Do just as much damage as those guys. So why don't you kick us off, Habby, with who do you got there with your first guy?
Well, I'll start at the QB position with JMO, the new sheriff of New Orleans. He's massive risk reward play. I'd like to start by just taking a look at some of his. When he last started in. For Tampa Bay in 2019, he finished off as the QB8 on a per game basis. Despite throwing 30 interceptions, he was actually finished as the QB14 in 2018 and QB18 in 2017 as well. I think he's surrounded by a not probably as good as cast as he had in Tampa, but he's still got Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, and they're an incredible pair of pass catchers. Trotman and Traquan Smith are competent pair of tight end and receiver, respectively. I think you could he's going to go deep in most pools. He's also situated probably behind arguably the number one offensive line in football, and obviously the Sean Payton offensive guru. And this could be the breakout season we've been waiting for from Winston, where he actually throws to the right team this year. And he hopefully keeps those numbers up, those like the passing touchdowns, passing yards, but just those interceptions have got to go, and he'd be awesome.
Yeah, I did read just yesterday, actually, that there was a reporter for the Saints that did say that Taysom Hill does have the basically to start training camp. He does have the job, is pretty much what he was saying. In my opinion,
that guy's full of shit.
Yeah. It is what it is.
We've already seen what Taysom gives them.
Yeah, Winston gives the Saints a better opportunity to win, right?
Exactly.
The thing with Hill is, yes, he's basically can he's a gadget player is what we broke it all down to during the year. He's not an every down quarterback. He can't do that. He has a handful of plays. You got to put him in there. That's when he succeeds. He's not going to be. If he is a starting quarterback, you can knock down all those offensive players right down, right down as far as fantasy rankings go, because they're not going to be anywhere near what they're going to be with Hill than they would be with Jameis. So I do agree with that. I do see Jameis going like late in rounds if he's being drafted at all. But like I said, if you guys, if you're in a 2 quarterback league, or even like we're in a couple leagues where we have 3 quarterbacks on our roster, go get Winston, get him late, let everybody else basically draft all those elite guys. You just scoop up all the studs in the other positions, and Jameis could be a league winner if everything falls into place for him.
And like we've seen that he has skill, and he can put up the amazing numbers. And the one thing he's done in the last year is worked on his craft off the game behind a Hall of Fame quarterback. And now he's going to be running probably a Hall of Fame coach's scheme. So, I mean, I see it going up for him big time this year. Like you said, he's going to be, I think he's ranked like QB 30 in Superflex formats. So, I mean, he's going to go deep if he goes, but I think if you take him, you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
Exactly. I'll also stick to the quarterback position. I'm going with the one Carson Wentz. A typical sleeper when it comes to fantasy, you're going to see Wentz coming off a bad season. A lot of people are just kind of like, don't want any part of it. I fell into the trap last year, drafted him in a couple leagues, didn't really pan out very well. Right now, he's being drafted as a QB 17, so not overly bad, but this guy has everything right for him. Going into Indianapolis, he's coming off basically his worst season, 2020. Only played 12 games, had only threw 16 touchdowns to 15 interceptions, so basically not good numbers whatsoever. But now look back, he's coming to a team reunited with Frank Reich, played a big part in Wentz's career when he came into the league. When he was in 2017, when he was the OC, Wentz threw for almost 4,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions. So the reunition, you're being reunited with Frank Reich, and now you're going to a team where they have, if not the best O-line in the league, the best weapons he's ever had. To go with that reunited with Reich, I like him. I like him to finish. Could be a top 10 quarterback if things go right for him. And I mean, you could get him in double digit rounds for sure. And I'm more than happy going to go grab him just because of those reasons.
He's got the skills. We've all seen it, and his biggest problem is staying on the field. And I mean, it doesn't. He would have played probably the full season last year. They decided to go with Hurts late, but I do like he's one of those quarterbacks that like it's tough to draft. Like you predict him to be top 10, which would be huge for him. He's got, like you said, the better O-line. Probably the entire team around him is better, but just those injuries. If he it's a high risk to take him to reach up and grab him because I'm almost forecasting that he's going to get injured again this year.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you're going to go up and you're going to reach for him. I'm saying he's dropping into double-digit rounds. If you need a quarterback, I mean, if you have a guy that has the potential with that O-line, with, you got Jonathan Taylor back there, you got Pittman, Hilton's still there, Campbell. You got all these weapons. He didn't have that stuff when he was in Philly, right? He was in the doghouse early in Philly. He had a bad year. Simple as that. I predict he's going to have his best. He's going to set career numbers in 2021 with the Colts.
I guess I would say that he will definitely do that if he stays healthy this season. He will definitely because he's surrounded, like you said, by so much more talent.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the running back position. Give me one.
All right, let's move into Detroit, the new doormat of the NFL. Jamal Williams.
Houston, buddy. Houston. You forget about them?
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, you're right. Well, it'll be the battle between those two, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the things that you brought up is that they have 243 unaccounted rushing attempts entering the 2021 season. Oh, no, you were talking about their pass catching attempts.
Sorry, they have, I did read that they have 64.1% of their targets are up for grabs right now. They have basically, with Golladay leaving, Jones leaving, and Danny Amendola, they accounted for 360 of the 582 passing attempts in 2020. So 360 targets up for grabs. And who do they have? They got basically Terrell Williams, Perryman, St. Brown, the rookie, and TJ Hawkinson. So distribute those how you may.
Quinton Cephas.
Quinton Cephas is there as well, but I think let's talk about the guy that you're about to bring up right now, because I do like him as a pass catcher.
So 243 unaccounted rushing attempts. I mean, managers are probably going to think that most of this is going to go to DeAndre, which I think it will. But he's already had an injury early in his career, and I think he only averaged like a little over 13 opportunities, rushing attempts, and targets per game last season. If you bump that up maybe to, let's say, 20, that still leaves a lot on the table for Jamal Williams, because I don't think you want to pound DeAndre, because you want to keep him on the field as long as you can, right? Because he's your guy, right? And when he's out there, that team's so much better. So like 20 touches, like on good days, maybe when they're winning, which will probably never happen, that he'll get a few more, 25 touches. But Williams, we've seen he's been productive throughout his career in that complimentary role. He was the first player in Packers history to finish with 450 or more rushing yards and 200 or more receiving yards in each of his first 4 seasons. He finished as an RB3 or better in 69% of his career games in PPR formats, that is. So he's going to, and with all those catches being vacated too, like he's going to get some grabs too.
You know what? Jamal Williams could, if he's just never given a shot to be the guy, right? So he's always played that complimentary role and he's succeeded in that. I think going to Detroit, I do buy into when Campbell said 1A and 1B between Swift and Williams. I'm buying into that because I could see them playing probably.
They want to keep Swift
healthy, but I still think we'll see a lot of I think you'll see a lot of them both on the field at the same time. I think you'll see a lot of passes going to Jamal Williams because he has proven that he can catch the ball out of the backfield. And I like that sleeper pick. And where is he? Like he's probably being drafted as a running back, probably 50 something right now would be my guess. So
I wouldn't really say. I think that Swift's skill, he's obviously a more skilled running back than Williams. So I think that alone will get Swift more touches than Williams, but it won't be as big a discrepancy as I think a lot of people are thinking.
Well, I'm just curious to know, I guess once training camp happens, though, that's kind of where you're going to see how these guys are being, how these running backs are going to be distributed here. I'm just taking a quick peek here on Fantasy Calculator to see where Jamal Williams is right now going as the running back 45 in PPR right now. So that's about the ninth round he's being drafted. So I definitely like the sleeper appeal there as well. My running back on the other hand is going to be how he's a sleeper is Mike Davis for Atlanta. He blew up last year, filling in for CMC, finished as RB12 in PPR. Over 160 carries for almost over 640 yards, added another 59 receptions for over 370 and 8 total touchdowns. Like, how is a guy going from one team where he basically filled in, basically got that job because of injury, goes to a team where he's guaranteed the starter and still being drafted way late in drafts. Now he's got new head coach Arthur Smith in the picture. Falcons definitely are going to be running the ball a lot more. They haven't ran the ball much in the last couple of years. Now Smith's coming from Tennessee, right? So, last 2 seasons, the Titans run game ranked 10th in the NFL, top 3 in rushing attempts, yards, and touchdowns. So, right off the bat, that the run game is going to be jacked in this offense now, right? It's not only going to be a pass first offense and stuff like that. Based on opportunity alone, Davis is the future back. He's going to set career highs in every category. He's going to finish, as a top 15 back. And the fact is he has nobody really behind him except undrafted free agent Javian Hawkins, right? That's it. So, currently Fantasy Consensus has him as a running back 22.
Who's a super deep sleeper.
Yeah, super deep sleeper. But so running back 22, which is low considering, like I said, bell cow back with not much competition behind him. So I like him.
I like it. I also like him. The reason they went out and grabbed him is because of what he did last year, and probably the reason that they didn't go grab anybody else is because they thought he could do it again in this, hoping like they're going to be a lot more outside zones, which they ran a lot of. Ooh. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm good. Don't worry. I just muted my mic because I thought I was going to sneeze.
Outside zone runs, which I think is right up his alley. So I like it. Mike Davis, I'm going to try and grab him he's going to be one of my guys that I might take a little bit earlier than a lot of guys because I want him on my team.
Well, the thing
it's not just because I'm an uber Atlanta fan.
Yeah, when I'm looking into, like, we just see you're wearing the hat right now. What's your hat say? We're part of the
CNBBCL or CN. What?
Yeah. So we just did that draft, huge draft, and you know what? Unless you searched for Mike Davis, that's the only way he came up. He was so far down that list, and I got him in a few leagues in double digit rounds. So I kind of I like them for sure. Do you got a wide receiver?
Actually, I got one more back.
Oh, let's go.
You mind if I talk about him?
No, go ahead.
Oh, jumping all over the map, are you?
I am.
All right, here we go. We're going to Arizona. And,
don't like it. Don't like it.
No, you don't like it, eh?
Don't like it.
Already. Don't like it.
Just kidding. Go. I don't even know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about.
Chase.
Who would be? Yeah. Okay. Who would be the sleeper in Arizona right now? Chase Edmonds.
There you go. Tell me about him.
Well, before we all thought that he might end up being the bell cow number one guy in this offense before the Cardinals went out late in the free agency and scooped Connors. But like Connors, usually the case with Connors is he's probably going to get injured. We haven't seen Edmonds really carry the workload for the Cardinals before. Only twice, I believe, 2 games where Edmonds finished with more than 8 carries, which is a huge concern. I think that bringing in Connors is probably good for Edmonds so that he isn't that forced into that bell cow role. And we know he has the pass catching role locked down because that's where most of his value came in as your RB3 or flex option last year. If he were to get a slight bump because Arizona is probably going to be scoring a ton of points and most likely winning most of their games, so they'll switch to that clock running mode, which is where they pound the ball. And if my crystal ball is right, then Connors is gonna tear his ACL quick time. So
I gotta stop you right there. It's James Conner.
Oh, sorry, Connor.
Connors.
Okay, Connor. You're right. Connor. Maybe I was saying it plurally though, as in more than one Connor on their team.
There you go.
All the Connors on their team are going to get injured. Anyway, so yep, I can. I'm hoping you want to draft him probably as an RB3/flex, same as where he finished last year. 62.5% of the time. That's where he ended up on the weekly fantasy index for points. But this year, I am predicting him to crack that RB2 and get 100 carries in this season.
I do agree with that as far as a sleeper appeal goes for him. I do think you're going to see a little bit more James Conner than people are actually realizing, and based especially PPR alone, Edmonds is definitely a sleeper. What worries me though is the fact that they did pay Conner. And Connor's going to come in, and we, like you said, we haven't seen Edmonds basically as that, first and second down back, right? We've always seen him in that pass catching role. So basically, it's something to keep an eye on. But if you're drafting right now, you can get him in those later rounds. And yeah, definitely, I would agree with you. Go and get him early, but just keep track of James Conner too, guys, because I mean, he could also be technically a sleeper in the same regard.
He's a piece of junk.
Well, let's talk about this guy then.
I don't even know his name. That's how bad he is.
James Connors. What? I'm going to talk about this guy, Philip Lindsay, Houston Texans.
Phil,
going to be the leading bell cow back for this Texans team. You watch, buddy.
Oh wow, they got a plethora of backs back there.
Well, he's getting drafted right now as a running back 50 in PPR. What has he done that has basically goes to Denver as an undrafted free agent? 2 out of the 3 years that he's there, goes for rush for over 1,000 yards in 2 of the 3 times in a part-time role. And then all of a sudden you just give up on this guy because of, Melvin Gordon comes into play. So now you go basically Texans, he joined, like you said, joins a crowded backfield in Houston. I personally think he's the most talented. You got Mark Ingram back there. You got David Johnson. David Johnson's been junk, in my opinion, in the last 5 years. I see Mark Ingram getting cut. believe believe it or not, I see him getting cut.
I heard murmurs of that as well.
Yeah, I just Houston's a terrible team. They're going to be playing from behind every single game, especially if Watson doesn't play, which I don't think he's going to. I mean, Lindsey's a pass catching back. I think he's going to be a bell cow because you definitely, if Ingram gets cut and DJ, he's going to get hurt at some point, early on in the year. I think Lindsey is going to break out this year. So, and going as their RB50 in PPR, that's insane.
I think he's got the most skill in the tank out of all those backs.
He's young, man. He's the youngest guy out there.
Yeah, like all the other backs have are done. They're basically done. So, Lindsey, take the ball and friggin' run with it, buddy.
Exactly. Give me a wide receiver. I want a wide receiver.
Denver's going to be pissed that they let him go because I don't think they should have. I think they should have held on to him.
They should have. They should have given him the money.
But I am not. My last name is not Elway. Wish it was. Exactly. But no.
Give me a wide receiver.
Well, I'm going to Atlanta. My team, Russell Gage. A pass happy team with little competition in the way of wide receiver 3, and he's gonna be the wide receiver 2 there. The needle is indeed pointing up on the Gage for 2021, and he's probably his ADP to normalize probably around wide receiver 45 to 50, which provides pretty good buying opportunity with his elevated floor and elevated ceiling. But opportunity is here for this guy, and he towards the end of last season is when he did a lot of his thrashing. And I think it's just gonna. That's one of the reasons I think that Atlanta was willing to part ways with Julio is because they've seen that Gage can step into that role and play the role nicely. Bringing in Pitts is obviously huge. Arthur Smith, his offense uses a lot of 2 tight end sets, so it's going to be a lot of grabs for their tight ends. And I think that those Julio catches are going to be distributed between. We're going to see Davis and Gage and obviously the tight end position get those grabs distributed amongst themselves. Plus whatever Gage was getting last year too.
So
on top of that,
I have him also as a deep sleeper, and I mentioned that to you. We'll touch on. We're going to talk about one of our deep sleepers each as well. He's my guy. I'm grabbing him late in drafts. He's basically steps into that wide receiver 2 role right off the bat. I understand Pitts is that wide receiver, more of a wide receiver than he is a tight end, but as of right now, he slides in as a wide receiver 2 right behind Ridley, and like you said, an offense that tosses the ball a ton. Each of his last 3 seasons, this guy's improved. Filling in for Julio Jones, he's been very efficient. And he had over 70 receptions last year, almost 800 yards, and had 4 touchdowns. So he is probably my favorite late round pick. You can basically go in the 13th round right now. So, if you draft a guy in the 13th round that's going to give you wide receiver 2 production, that's ridiculous. He's the type of guy you go grab late and he'll destroy his ADP by the end of the year.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's why he might not slide down as far as people think. I think everybody's on the same page with him where they think he's going to be better than everybody else thinks. But if everybody thinks that way, then he's going to go early in a lot of pools.
Yeah. So, we'll see. As of right now, he's not. He's definitely going in those double-digit rounds. So, and what's that?
In what? Mock drafts?
In mock drafts? Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wait till it gets closer to the season. Then
I guess. You're going to see everything fluctuate. That guaranteed. But I think a lot of people are basically handing Pitts a 100+ targets right off the bat, and I think that's where they're kind of a little bit mistaken. Do I think Pitts is going to be a very valuable asset on this team? 100%. But do I think you should be sleeping on Gage right now? No. because this kid's done nothing but improve every single year he's played. And now you don't have Julio Jones there, steps in on the outside with basically as your wide receiver too. So I do like that.
I don't like giving rookies unbelievable numbers.
I know, yeah.
Predicting them for unbelievable numbers.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter who it is. Like,
but you look at around the industry, that's everybody's giving him. Everybody's giving him, me included. I'm telling you, he's my tight end 4. But what I'm saying though is like in this offense, right off the bat, you know what I mean? Production wise, I think he's going to produce, you know, because if we talk about tight ends again, I mean, we're kind of off topic right now, but talk about tight ends again, that number from the top 3 all the way down is drastic, right? It drops big time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to get into that tight end 4, you're going to have to be productive, but it's not going to be excessive for a tight end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that, so go ahead.
Do they want to roll him out there like teams like Detroit and Denver did? And we've seen both those tight ends take major injuries. They have a guy, their number 2 tight end who is like, what did he finish? Like top 10 last year for sure.
Hurst,
yeah. And so maybe it might be, I know that like they do run a lot of 2 tight end sets, but might be an idea to like maybe not do what Detroit and Denver did and, you know, ease this guy in a little bit. And by the end of the season, if he's elite, obviously he'll get elite numbers. But maybe in the first part of the season, like the best thing for this kid is maybe to learn the game from the outside and in, you know?
He's a freak. He's a freak, though. So
I know he's a freak.
I think they're going to roll him out there immediately. So
they might have to because they got rid of Julio. You know?
Yeah, exactly. My wide receiver, I'm going to go with a rookie here, Devonta Smith. We watched him dominate 2020 on his way to winning the Heisman. Now going into the first season in the NFL, we're not hearing too much about him as far as, you know, we're hearing a lot about Jamar Chase, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Jamar Chase is a stud. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he's not. I think that this kid is amazing. He's ridiculous. But Smith, on the other hand, he's walking into 100-plus targets immediately as a wide receiver 1 on an Eagles team who doesn't have a legit wide receiver 1 yet.
Yeah.
So basically, if you want to talk about best landing spot when I'm in the draft, if I'm a wide receiver, the best landing spot for any wide receiver would have been Philly just because of the lack of pass catchers there. The biggest concern as far as things go for me is not quite sure how much Hurts is going to throw the ball. It could turn into like a Lamar Jackson situation where, I mean, a lot of it's just going to be running the ball, run first team because they got Sanders back there. So it's not really going to scare.
They got a whole lot back there.
They got a ton back there. But as far as that goes, I'm not going to let it scare me off too much. As far as we've already seen Smith's production. I do think he can bring that to the next level. I don't care about his size. Doesn't matter to me. I'm currently going as a wide receiver 39, but I do think he's going to be the T. Higgins of this rookie class this year. T. Higgins finished as I think it was top 30 wide receiver last year, even top 25, I think. So, I mean, I think Smith finishes as a top 24 wide receiver this year in fantasy.
Well, I mean, if he stays healthy, I agree. But the big question going into this season for this kid was his size, and it is a concern for me because if he's getting 100 grabs, he's going to get lit up. He's going to get hit harder than he's ever been hit in his career. And with his size being an issue, we're going to see how tough this kid is because they need him big time. But this let's just see him like before you start handing out 100 catch years. Let's see how he does in a few football games.
I didn't say 100
in the NFL.
Targets. I said 100 targets.
100 targets. Okay, yeah.
If he gets 100,
but catches, I mean the size has to be a concern, like because it was obviously a concern for a lot of teams in the NFL because he did drop in the draft to where he was projected. I mean, his numbers were off the charts in college, but just that translation from college to the NFL game for a player that's not built like a DK Metcalf, it's going to be tougher to finish the season for him.
I personally don't give a shit about size with any player, in my opinion. Kids got talent.
Really?
Kids want to jump to the next level.
The small shifty guys, yeah, but these lanky guys, like they're getting hit. They're going to be hit by corners that are like probably a foot smaller than him in the midsection, and that's like it's different than Rieger getting popped because he's squaring up against these guys. But we'll
see. We're
definitely going to see.
The golf trip's coming very shortly that we go on every year. That's where the bets start rolling out. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to make a bet on this one for sure.
And everybody loves Smith, so I'm going to be betting against him all day long.
Do you have did you talk about you talked about Gage. Tight end.
I got a tight end.
Give me tight end.
I got old balls Jared Cook. Could surprise.
Yeah.
You know what? He's the only reason I say this is because he's landed in a uber heavy pass offense and a young stud chucking him the ball. They don't really have anybody behind him in the tight end position.
Parham's there. They drafted Trey McKitty. How about him?
Yeah,
Parham's. He's going to be a red zone guy. He's catching like. I'll piggyback off of what our buddy Jerry
they're
said.
blocking tight ends.
10 touchdowns this year for Parham.
10 touchdowns.
10 touchdowns.
Hot take.
I don't know if it's a hot take. He's a big boy, man. 6'8".
Joe Lombardi is Cook's old offensive coordinator. They're best buds. He's going to give him some love in the red zone. Cook may tell him all I want to do is catch balls in the end zone.
No way. But this is your take, buddy. You go ahead. I'll let you talk.
Yeah, like I said, he's old, 33, but pass-heavy offense. We saw last year that they like to use their tight end. Hunter Henry had some decent numbers, and now he gone. And Cook's in, so $4.5 million guaranteed. He's got to earn that, buddy.
I'll give it to you. But I don't see him.
I know everybody likes Parham, but he's drafted like what 20th in our 16-man best ball Canadian National Best Ball Championship.
Yeah, he was drafted. I think someone in both those divisions. I think I got him in the 20th pick for me.
Well, you had to draft like your third tight end, probably drafting him as your third tight end.
Yeah.
And it's usually a guy on a team that likes to pass, but they have a number one tight end.
Yeah.
And their second guy you just scoop because hopefully the first guy gets ran over by a truck.
My tight end, on the other hand, is Jonnu Smith. Wasn't a big fan of him signing through free agency, especially when the Pats also went out and grabbed guy you just talked about, Hunter Henry. But the more I look at it now, though, is the opportunity in front of Smith. I mean, they have, last year for the Titans, he was great last year for the Titans, and now finds himself as basically could be a top pass option for the Patriots, who use their tight ends a lot. They've been wanting to use them a lot for a couple of years now. Never had the opportunity. Now Bill goes out and gets two solid. You can pretty much say elite tight ends, would you not? I mean, these guys are proven.
Yeah. I wouldn't say elite. Elite is the AAA, buddy. That's the beef you want.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
He's the under probably like bottom of tier 2.
Bottom of tier 2. Okay, fair enough. I think both these tight ends are going to see a huge target share, but I do think that Smith is going to lead in targets and receptions out of the two of them. I think Smith is more athletic. I think he has more big play ability than Hunter Henry.
Oh, that might be another bet, buddy.
Okay, I'm game. I'm down.
Henry versus Juno.
Yeah. And like Jonas is currently getting drafted in 13th round right now. But I can see him putting up over 600 and 7 to 8 touchdowns this year. That's going to be enough to probably get him in the top 10 again this year. So give it to me. He's going to be a steal in drafts.
Well, I mean, their offense is set up a lot like what it was when they had and they were able to support 2 elite tight ends in Gronkowski and the late great Aaron Hernandez.
Easy.
What?
Late great. What are you? Do you know?
He died, and he used to be good at football.
Jesus guy.
He also killed somebody, so that's not great.
Exactly. You can't call this guy great, man. Jesus.
No, he was great at football. All right,
that's football. It. Okay,
not a good human being.
Jesus.
Not a good human being. We're talking about football here. All right.
Oh, Habby. All right. Yeah. Okay. Go. And you're like, he died. Yeah. No, he killed himself. But yeah. Anyways, that's getting dark. Let's not. Talk about that.
Okay, so you see there, they got a whole bunch of mediocre receivers like they had back then, and they got these 2 elite tight ends. So we've seen them Bill's offense able to accommodate putting up good fantasy numbers for 2 tight ends. So I think that's probably what they're going to be trying to go with again.
You just contradicted yourself. You just called them elite tight ends. You just called them elite tight ends after telling me they weren't elite.
No, I said that he was able to accommodate 2 elite tight ends.
Okay. I do think you said he was.
I didn't want to say Hernandez's name again, but you're making me say it again, right? The late great, not great person, but great player.
There you go.
Clarify it for all my listeners.
I do still think you did say about Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry that they are both elite. I think you just said that. But whatever. No. We'll listen to the episode tomorrow, bud, or whatever day it comes out.
If they run that same type of offense, they could be elite. Because those other 2 tight ends were elite. They put up elite numbers, both of them, over 1,000 yards,
said
right?
That, whatever. I still think you said
they're not elite coming in. They're not elite right now. They're not elite right now.
All right,
but if they become the focal points of this offense, then they could be.
Fair enough. Got it? Give me your deep sleeper. I want a
deep sleeper.
I want a deep sleeper.
All right. Well,
I said Russell Gage already, so we skipped my guy. So go to your guy. Who are we going to talk about?
Okay, well, this guy I actually drafted with my 20th pick.
Who?
In the Canadian Best Ball was Fulgham.
I do like that.
And I mean, we've seen from weeks 1 to 5, 44 targets, 29 grabs, 435 yards. The Eagles were 3-2 in that span. And much like the Eagles as well, Fulgham fell off the friggin' map after that. They changed their offense. Obviously, they had some key guys coming back from injury because Fulgham was taking advantage of the injuries that they had, like Alshon Jeffrey, and probably there was somebody else that went down. Oh yeah, no, their young rookie Rieger was injured for the first half of the season too. Yeah. So when those 2 came back, Philly sucked big time, and Fulgham was pushed out of the picture. He's sort of in a situation this year. There's Rieger. We haven't seen consistency from him yet. There's a lot of tout and bout about Smith, obviously, but I mean, Fulgham, he could be a big part of this offense. If one of those guys gets injured or doesn't pan out like Philly hopes they do, Fulgham, we've seen it that he could step in there. He could put up some pretty good fantasy numbers and make that offense better because they actually won a few games when he was one of the focal points in that offense.
Yeah, he's their wide receiver 3 right now, so I definitely like that pick. And yeah, he's almost going undrafted in some leagues. So I do agree with that. He's definitely a guy that you would consider a deep sleeper. He's not a huge name, not a big name. Put up a few games last year, like you said, but that's the reason being why he's considered probably a deep sleeper, is because he's not a household name. He's not a sexy name, right?
Exactly.
So you're going to give a shout out to who?
Shout out to my boy AB back here too. He could have a great season. Played 8 games last year, and if he projected for a 16-game season last year, he would have been pushing that 1,000-yard mark. He puts up consistent numbers like he always has, and I think that this year in that offense, he could play the exact same role, get you 5+ catches, and like 70 to 100 yards and hopefully a touchdown like every second game, you know?
And most likely somebody's going to be leaving that offense at the end of the year, so he could be playing for a big contract at the end of this year. So
yeah.
Okay, another question for you. Out of the guys we talked to, is there a guy is there a guy that you can see finishing as a top 12 at their respectable position? Like any one of these guys, if things were to go, everything was to fall into place, like every possible thing, who has the best chance of finishing in the top 12?
I like Mike Davis if he gets going like he did last year in this offense and gets more catches, then I think he could really push that top 12.
Is it because he's got tree trunk thighs?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons. Yes. Power running.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you?
Well, we talked about it.
Burrows too. It obviously has to be a name you threw out there because he's got the ilk, and we've seen what he can do up until his injury.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with my boy Carson Wentz in this position, just because if everything, if everything go, I'm going all in again with Wentz, man. I'm going all in with
drinking the Kool-Aid.
I am.
Drinking the Kool-Aid.
I did it last year, backfired, but I like everything about this offense that he's in right now. So I'm not going to give up on him because we have seen this kid, the talent that this kid does have. So I'm going to give him one more shot.
All right. So
that's it, buddy.
Andy gave him one more shot. So why can't Clayton Kadu?
Exactly. You know it. All right, buddy. Well, that's going to take care of our sleeper episode for today. We're going to be back at some point with we're going to do some breakouts. We're going to do some busts. We're going to do a whole bunch of stuff here. We're excited, but we're back, guys. So it will be more consistent. Make sure you go check out our YouTube channel as well. Go subscribe to that. And outside of that, buddy, appreciate you jumping on with me, H. Pleasure. And we will talk to you soon, bud.
Peace.
Clayton caught a big skin running down the field. Happy tossing dimes, $2 million